Welcome to the Freight Agent Insider Podcast, hosted by Levi Van Pay.
And welcome in, everybody. Glad to have you back here. I'm your host, LVP. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Before we get started, if you wouldn't all mind, be so kind, move your fingers a little bit, go subscribe, like Freight Agent Insider on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok. Smash the bell icon for auto alerts to new episodes every Monday at 9 a.m. Central. And again, hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. My dog went after the turkey, got most of it. It was like a scene out of A Christmas Story. Thank God for Papa John's coming through in the clutch. If you have questions for our agents live on the show, go ahead and go to freightagentinsider.com, click the page, talk to us live, and ask a question right there. Very easy. You can do it from your cell phone, and we'll have it answered live on the next show. We're going to start rolling that out. Exciting today because we got another repeat guest, a good buddy of mine who's been doing this for a while now, and a wealth of information and a lot of fun. If you would all be so kind to welcome in Zach Davis. How's it going, Zach?
What's up, dude? Thanks for having me back. Last time it was Drew Bertner and myself, and this time we got an opportunity to chop it up 1v1.
Yeah, excited to do it too. The first time we had you and Drew on, I mean, it was the inaugural episode. It was the very first time we did it. Had no idea how it would go. And you were actually the one that gave me the boost of confidence and just said, hey, go for it. Who knows how this is going to turn out, but you won't know unless you try. And it's been going well. I mean, we've got over 1,000 followers now on LinkedIn, over 500 on TikTok. We're lagging on YouTube a little bit. So again, get out there and like and subscribe, everybody. But yeah, glad to have you back in, man.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, good for you, man. I try to catch as many episodes as I can. I definitely see the clips when they go through my feed. But yeah, great job. Great job on you, dude. Like, way to just get out there and do it, dude. Put yourself out there. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, making it happen.
Yeah, and I think that's a good lesson for everybody out there who's looking to do anything. It doesn't have to be freight related, but if you've got an idea, just go for it. Don't worry about the naysayers and the negativity that they put out there because it's going to happen. Just go do it and watch the magic.
It's so true, man. Just get out and do it, dude. Absolutely. Love that. That was kind of like my motto, like when I like last year and a half ago, something like that, I told myself I was going to start posting on LinkedIn, so I gave myself like 90 days. I was going to post every day for 90 days. And, it was, the results were awesome. My struggle is just trying to be, authentic during that. And I'm so concerned about, the words that come out of my mouth and making sure they're not just noise, but they're also like making a difference, or they're impacting people, or they're teaching and training. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. I've struggled with that a little bit myself with the LinkedIn thing. I mean, that's actually where we met. I post a lot on there, but I try to do it just like you said, stay as authentic as possible. People see right through the BS. And if you're just posting to post, I don't think it really does a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, man, what's new since we last had you on?
New customer lockdown.
Oh, shoot. We got a new customer, huh?
Yeah, we've got a couple new ones, some that we've, got the credit apps back, and then others that we've got verbals and are just waiting for contracts in January. But, dude, a lot of good things. I think when we spoke last, I talked about associations and digging into those. I joined a new association in Q4 here this year, and I'm starting to have really good conversations with people. So we're able to lock down a customer. I actually have a meeting with one of the new customers right after this podcast. So that's exciting. So
Zach, sorry to cut you off, buddy,
yeah.
in 1 minute or less, just to fill anybody in who's unfamiliar with your customer acquisition path of using these associations? What exactly is that? How does it work?
Well, I think there's a lot of warm ways to get business. You know, one of the main ways that I lean on is I will find associations that are pretty niche, narrowed down. Um, Most of the time, those membership directories are public. So I'll
Hmm.
sift through the membership directories, look at the companies, see if they look like they'd be a good fit, see if it's an area maybe that I'm strong in or an area that I could learn to support them, and then maybe identify like areas where there's gaps of service from other transportation providers or where they're not hitting the nail on the head. I'll join those associations, usually go to an event or two. But like I hear people say that all the time, like, yeah, we go to events. I'm like, yeah, but I call the association manager. I let them
Right.
tell me what their members are struggling with. Like, and then I call the members and I have something to go off of. Like, hey, is this something that you're dealing with? Or what are your incumbents doing well? You know, or where are they missing the mark? So that in a few sentences, like that's one of the strongest areas that I lean on when I'm prospecting.
And that just landed you a new customer.
It did, you know, and it's been landing me customers for about 9 years. I learned it when I was in the insurance world. I've just continued to, you know, get better at it and drill down. And so, yeah, if it works, I don't change it. Sorry if you can hear my German Shepherd barking in the background.
We're pro puppy in this podcast, baby.
Yeah, pro puppy, that's right. But in my personal life, since we talked last, I got engaged. So that's really exciting.
Mazel tov. Congratulations, buddy. That's
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
great.
so got engaged a couple weeks ago. That's very exciting. Very
Well,
lucky.
that goes right along with the brand new house. Zach, he was just showing me around the house. Beautiful, just bought it, and that all came from, I imagine, slinging freight. And for any of you that don't know Zach, he is a big dog in the freight world. He's a big dog, and you could probably tell that from the beard. You don't rock a beard like this unless you're unless you're the guy.
I can't tell you how untrue that is.
So, Zach, tell me a little bit about your day to day, especially as you've grown, as the business has gotten bigger. Um, I mean, you were just showing me your office and you have like 5 friggin' monitors. Does it get more difficult as you scale to maintain operational success? And what are some of the things that you're implementing to stay on top of that stuff?
Yeah, man. When you go from being like an individual contributor to scaling a business, managing your time is extremely difficult, you
That's
know?
right.
And Drew and I, when we partnered, you know, I didn't see like where we are now, like I wouldn't have seen it as quickly as it's happened. We have employees, right? We have other agents who have been joining and working with us. I think we have a team of 9 people now that have
Incredible.
implemented that. Like it's crazy, right? And we're training and we're developing a lot of these people, right? So when you go from an individual contributor to like being responsible for developing people, training people, teaching people, like or like managing your time and organizing your calendar is so critical. So that has challenged me to basically maximize every minute. And it's not easy, but it's been extremely rewarding, right? Because it's not just me now that I'm focused on. It's other people, and I'm responsible for their success.
That's right.
So it's not easy, but it's valuable.
Does it add more challenges again on the operational side of running the business when you're remote? I mean, you're working out of your house, as is, I imagine, most of your employees. Or how do you kind of navigate that?
It is challenging on the operations side, right? Because like it's harder to have my eyes on everything going on, whereas before it's just my you know my freight. So the standard that I operate, like I could handle that. But now it's other people running freight, you know, and we also have you know a responsibility to make sure that goes well, even though we're not handling it directly. So
That's right.
training is the most important thing. Like actually hiring, bringing on people who have as much skin in the game and care as much about what they're doing as you do
That's
is
right.
the most important piece.
Yeah, yeah. And just to go back a minute ago when you were talking about this new customer that you got, what do you think is the most challenging part of this as you scale? You're managing more people. How do you find the time to prospect outside of the just your typical day to day that seems to be getting more and more filled?
I think being systematic, like having a game plan, and the example I used to give to people I worked with at my previous W-2 brokerage is, like when you guys go to the gym, you know what you're going to do that day, or you should,
Right.
right? And it sounds so stupid and cliche, but it's just true. Like I approach my work day like I would if I was going into the gym. I know what I'm going to work on that day. I know that I have to be extremely targeted in what I'm going to do, and I have to be really guarded with my time. Like my phone blows up constantly.
Mhm.
So I've had to encourage the people around me, like, if it is not pressing, if it is not an emergency, please text me or email me. And it sounds rude and I hate doing it, but I have to.
Yeah.
I have to do it to keep my momentum and to keep achieving the same goals that I have.
Yeah, and
Right.
I think it lends into the importance of having on top of just a good system in place, the TMS you're using, whatever softwares you're using, the less clicks you have to personally press in, those seconds add up, and the more you can save, the better. A couple weeks ago, I had Lita Zurabashvili. I hope I'm saying your last name
Yeah, I
correctly
know who you're
on the
talking about.
show. Yeah, I mean, she's doing an incredible job not only with her business, but implementing AI. And it sounds like some of the time saving that she's getting back on that side of things, not only just from her day-to-day operations, but prospecting as well. Are you already using anything like that, Zach,
We
or do you
are,
have plans?
yes, we are talking to a couple of guys right now that are building some really cool stuff for us. And it is in the beginning phases right now. It's all discovery
Yep.
and educating them on what we do every day and how they can customize what we need in the form of AI. Um, and I think it's going to be a game changer. It's really cool. I use it every day, AI, like as far as like research or
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's just a time saver, man. Like, it's
it is.
great. You can watch YouTube videos all day on a subject and wait till it gets to a part that's educational,
Yep.
or I can type in exactly what I need, and then that gives me a much stronger base to go off of. So, I meant to watch that clip, that part that you and Lita had a conversation about AI because I was so interested in it, and I haven't gotten to yet. But thank you for the reminder because I want to go back and see what she's kind of doing or talking about, and then see where it fits.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll plug her here. She's got an additional business which is helping agents implement some of these AIs that she's already using. So for anybody out there who is thinking about using some of this stuff, I mean, reach out to her on LinkedIn. She's super
Cool.
kind, super helpful. And I mean, with that, man, so like as you've kind of grown the business and you're getting more shippers, more customers, probably using more carriers, do you think it's becoming more difficult to like give that customer service aspect that's made you successful in the first place, or does it just kind of go back to just like maintaining your day and staying dialed in at all times?
No, I think a lot of people, customers, and they're so concerned about ruining that new relationship or getting off on the wrong foot that they're not doing enough. They're not asking enough questions. They're not talking to individuals and contacts at both sides of the shipper and the receiver. They're not understanding the business and supply chain and not able to speak the language. Like we dig in, dude. Like we really focus on understanding exactly what is going on in that business. We go out and visit as much as we can. I want to go there. I want to walk in that warehouse. I want to see what their
Yeah.
day to day looks like. I want to talk to people in that office. So, is it harder? Maybe. Is it more rewarding? Absolutely. Like that's how you keep customers is knowing and understanding like the moving pieces around their business, where you fit in, if you fit in, you know, and then just keeping that communication channel open.
Yeah. Yeah, earlier today I said something on LinkedIn and it kind of fits in here about I'm in the sales spectrum, just on the other side that you're on, Zach, more on the agent recruiting side, sales nonetheless. But I said on LinkedIn, if you want to be good at this, and this completely ties into exactly what you do, but if you want to be good at sales, it's not about onboarding an agent, just like it's not about onboarding a customer. It's great to get your foot in the door. It's the ongoing relationship. How deep are you willing to go for that customer? Like how badly do you want to be their go-to person? It's the same thing for us. Like I answer all of my agents' calls. I don't care if it's midnight. I have to be that go-to for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's important, but like most conversations I have, like, or most people that I end up having conversations with regarding freight or an opportunity, like most of the time they're not a good fit.
Yeah.
Just like most of the brokers that these companies are using are like not the best fit, Like I think if you can really understand like where the pain points are, like what keeps them up at night, like what are they punching the wall thinking about when it comes to like their logistics.
Yeah.
You can solve that problem for them, and if they value the problems that you solve, like yeah, it's important, but like I am very clear when I talk to people. I'm like, look, I do not work with everybody. I'm never begging. I'm never like desperate for their freight. Like I am looking for relationships, and I'm looking for companies that value the amount of effort and the amount of sacrifice that we will put into their business to help their supply chain move. I have in 3 years, I've had three big customers get acquired or bought out.
Mm.
And I'm like, man, dude, like, it's like, when you're an important part of their supply chain and you're helping things, it makes them look attractive, I guess, to like other companies who want to acquire them. It's been like a double-edged sword. And I know that's not why they're acquiring them, but I'm like, frick, dude,
You were the stepping stone
Yeah, right.
to the sale. Yeah. Lucine Arakilian, she put it really succinctly. She said, if you want to be successful in the freight agency world and growing your business, master your niche. And it seems like you're very diverse, Zach, but it seems like you're really doing that. Like you've really dialed into a couple specific niches. Do you kind of
Oh, yeah.
recommend to other younger brokers and agents to do that versus just like going after all the low-hanging fruit that's out there?
I think the niche is the low hanging fruit. I think niche and region are so important,
Mm.
and are great ways to like stand out. I am adding a new niche or industry and learning about it. I'd say every like 3 to 6 months, I'm digging into other areas where we can be strong, difficult freight, high value freight, and exactly, figuring out where we can set ourselves apart from
Yeah.
the competition. And it's almost always customer service. It's almost always not just availability, but like, you know, making it easy for them, making it easy for them to like know where their freight is, handling problems as soon as they happen, telling the customer that there's a problem like right away, but also saying like, here's what we're doing to mitigate your risk or to solve this issue. And it goes a long way because your customers know that problems happen in freight, and being solution driven and acting super quickly is important. And if you don't have a finger on the pulse, you're not going to get to that problem quickly, right?
That's right. Zach, to piggyback off of that, what makes a freight agent successful versus one who struggles?
There's a lot of good freight brokers that struggle, dude. There's a lot of bad freight brokers that just, I don't want to say got lucky, but got lucky. And, you know, I think the difference is showing up every day and being consistent, right? A lot of brokers bury themselves in busy work and they don't prioritize prospecting, or they don't game plan their
That's right.
prospecting, or they don't put together processes that are successful and repeatable on the operation side and on the sales side. And without that balance, without being consistent in this world every single day, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, 100%. Um, we had a listener question I wanted to ask you. I think you're a good fit to answer this, but what would you tell someone considering becoming a freight agent?
Well, it depends. Like, let's say it's a W-2 person who's already at a brokerage, maybe they're doing 5K a week in profit,
I believe this person is actually on that side.
Okay. Well, to that, I would say moving over to the agency world could be the best decision they've ever made. I don't recommend it if you just have one customer you're doing that with. If you're prospecting every single day and
Mhm.
you're improving that process, improving the way you acquire customers, like, sure, bet on yourself. But it's not for everybody. There are so many freaking brokers out there doing like 5 to 10K a week in profit with one customer and just holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
And maybe they think they're comfortable and they think they're good and they're safe, but in reality, you're probably not. And things happen every day. You know, a lot of the times maybe your relationship is just with that logistics manager. Turnover is a real thing, man, and it happens every day. Like, I make it a point, I get in with C-level up top. Like, I'm building relationships with the presidents, the owners, the CEOs, the director of operations. Like, that's really important. Like, that's how you stay in the position you're in, even if your customer experiences turnover at the logistics level or at the transportation manager level or at the operations level.
Yeah, and that's a really common one when an agent isn't that deep and connected with the customer C level. Like maybe they're just really tight with the shipping coordinator. And that person moves on. They get fired, they find a better position, all of a sudden they're
Yeah.
gone. What do you do?
And the customers that you're delivering to, man, like, get in with those people. Like, those are the ones that are giving your customer feedback most of the time.
Yeah,
Like, communicating with them and delivering for them is critical.
that's right.
Horror stories and pitfalls.
I think the last time we had you on, you had a pretty good horror story. Let's
Oh,
hear another
man.
one, man.
Okay. Gosh. We had a project we were working on where we were moving some high value cargo, and we had a driver break down. They didn't tell us, right? It was the middle of the night. They ended up bringing equipment out to unload that product into a new trailer that was also owned by the same carrier. They never told us.
Mhm.
They just figured, like, we were giving them so much freight, they didn't want to bother us. And they thought they were doing us a favor by
Mm.
handling it. Well, they ended up delivering on time, but when the freight had broken down, um, somebody saw that, and it circulated on the internet. And our customer found out the next day before we did. And it was a really bad look that we were not in control of the situation. So, really bad look, like, lost the customer.
Mm.
And so the lesson was educating our carriers and helping them understand that we are on the same team. But if there are problems that happen, which there will be, it's extremely important that they communicate those problems with you right away.
Yeah.
And so you can solve them together. And then that customer still feels like you are in control because hopefully you know about it before they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
That's
was
that's right.
a huge lesson. This was, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, something like that. But it was awful.
Yeah, on the website freightagentinsider.com, we have a freight agent boot camp course, and that is actually highlighted in there as a very important point of always staying on top of these things and telling your customers right away when something happens. And I
Yeah,
think
and it's also, like, telling your carriers, right? Like, because
that's
a
right.
lot of time they're afraid to do something wrong, like, or they have bad experiences with brokers who can't wait to hit them with, like, accessorials
Right.
or hit them with fees, and that happens every day. So, like, c you know, just encouraging them and reminding them that They're literally the service that you provide as a broker. So reminding them that you're on their team and you understand that accidents happen, but they need to communicate with you right away if they do, when they do, is understated. You know, it, you have to do that.
Does it kind of highlight to the importance of having a tight knit carrier crew that you're using for your freight versus constantly finding carriers off of load boards, just from like a
Yeah.
safety perspective?
Yeah. So everyone that does a good job for us, we ask them, how did you like how did you like the lane? How did you like the pay? Did you like working with us? What lanes do you run often? How much equipment do you have? And would you be interested in working with us again? Right. And if they do all the things right, they communicate, they track, they send the photos when requested, they send the POD right away. Like all of them get these questions. And then they go into a database that we have access to. So if we have another lane that's similar to that, we always start with our active carriers before posting. And it's so important, especially in this day and age, especially in this freight landscape, especially with all the shit going on with fraud and theft. You know, you have to do these things.
Oh yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, last week we did the great freight debate with Anik Lesage and Avante Jackson. Avante is a driver influencer and advocate. Anik is, of course, a great freight agent. And we didn't really talk about what you just said, but it is so important, just simply getting the feedback from the drivers. How did you feel about the pay? How do you like these lanes? Would you like driving for us again? These are such important questions that every agent broker should be asking to develop that repeat carrier base. I don't know if everybody does that.
They don't, you know, they don't because it's time consuming, right? And it's a lot easier for them in their mind just to post and cover until you've had a problem, until you've had stolen
Right.
freight, until you've had drivers disappear on you, and until you've had claims, you know? And those things all still happen, but I think what we're talking about in that process takes away a lot of those errors that can occur just by doing a little extra and giving a little more effort.
Yeah, very well said, man.
Freight Agent Insider Tips for Success.
As we wrap the show up, Zach, what can you leave us with to hit the upper echelon of success that you have found on the freight agent side of the business? How do we get there?
Get personal. Get personal. You don't get what you don't ask for. Something I've been doing lately has been sending video messages to prospects,
Nice.
telling them that I understand, you know, their business, parts of it at least, and showing them where I'm strong, whether it's an industry or a region, and just building rapport that way. They get tons and tons of messages, tons and tons of phone calls every day. Like them seeing my face in a video, sharing that I know a little bit about them and I've done some homework and some research goes a long way. I got a meeting with a prospect recently because I remember we were talking in a post, started talking about football in his DMs, told me he was a Bills fan. I went to the Miami Bills game a couple weeks ago. I was like, who was I talking to on LinkedIn about the Bills?
Yeah.
And I went to my messenger and I typed in the Bills to see who popped up. And it was this guy. And I said, hey, dude, I'm about to walk into the Bills Dolphins game right now. Let's make a deal. And of course, you know, Dolphins were a big underdog. So we had the points on this too with the spread. But I said, Dolphins win. You know, I get a meeting with you. Bills win. I buy you, you know, lunch to your favorite restaurant in Dallas,
Win-win.
Fort Worth.
Yep.
And he said, you know what? He goes, I like your tactic. He goes, let's do it. So the Dolphins won, you know, which was crazy.
Crazy win.
Didn't even need the points. And a 15-minute phone call turned into an hour-long discovery call with this guy. That was just awesome. One of the best discovery calls I've ever been on. So get personal, get comfortable being uncomfortable, put yourself out there, do your research, and watch what happens.
Yeah. Man, football is such an easy one in this world too. Like, of course, I'm not an agent, but I have said many times to anybody out there prospecting. If I was an agent, what I would do is I'm based in Wisconsin. I'm in the frozen tundra, so I'm a cheesehead. I bleed green, baby. If I was an agent, what I would do is I would call all of these manufacturers, shippers here in Wisconsin, and I would just spark up conversations around the Packers. We love the Packers here. You can go about this so many different ways. It doesn't have to be sports, but like Zach is saying, just get personal. That's all you got to do. Showcase your personality.
It's a good icebreaker.
It is. It is. Zach, thanks so much for joining the show. Everybody out there, again, please like, subscribe, TikTok, and YouTube, Spotify. We had a request to get on Apple Podcast. I don't know. I haven't even dug into it, but we'll probably get on the Apple thing as well. Get on freightAgentInsider.com. Click the Talk to Us Live tab, and you can ask questions. We'll answer them live here on the show. Zach, thanks again, man.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Take care, everybody.
All right. See ya.
Thank you for watching the Freight Agent Insider Podcast. Like us and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, and LinkedIn.